Everything they've built will fall, and from the ashes of their world, we will build a better one. Charles is going to be so pissed. Hello everybody, Nick here. Welcome to another review. This is to be the last film review of 2016 of the movies I've seen at the cinema so far, until I see another one. So, yeah, this is it. This is the last one until I see the next one. So yeah. No more delays. Let's get down to it. This is X-Men Apocalypse. The latest X-Men film and X-Men Universe film, if we're including spin-offs such as Deadpool. And I've got the previous films here. I've got X-Men, the Ultimate Collection, containing X-Men, X-Men 2, otherwise known as X2, X2, X-Men United, and X-Men 2, X-Men United. God, it's a lot of titles for that one. Thank goodness the rest have only just one or two titles. X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men Origins Wolverine, or just Origins Wolverine, X-Men First Class, The Wolverine, which I have made a nice little slipcase for, because I didn't get a slipcase with my 12 rated version. In fact, I got this from CX Harlow, and then I went back the week later, they had the 15 rated version with a slipcase. Just my luck. I didn't get the 15 rated version, and my 12 one didn't come with a slipcase. Thankfully, I got X-Men Days of Future Past as well, with a slipcase, because this was from Amazon. Sadly, I got it before the road cut got released, so I didn't get the road cut. And Deadpool, which I've already done a review of. Check it out. Should be in the link below. Nice little slipcase. If there's an 18 rated version, well, I've already got this one, so I say 18 rated version because there was a trailer that was an 18, so if they released a Deadpool extended cut, which may even have gotten an 18. And here are the DVD and Blu-ray covers for Apocalypse, the upcoming Apocalypse DVD and Blu-ray. Looking good, aren't they? Hoping to get that at some point, maybe for Christmas, I don't know. Hopefully there won't be a 15 rated extended edition brought out late, like road cut. So, X-Men Apocalypse. Apologies for any sounds from outside. I have a window open. It is, as the weatherman from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix says, it is hot, hot, hot. I did have windows open because of noise, and a bloody wasp got in. I closed them. I managed to get the wasp out first, of course. So, yeah. X-Men Apocalypse. The film takes... Well, after... The post-credit scene of Days of Future Past shows 4 horsemen... Oh, there's a button here, I think. Or is it outside? Oh, it doesn't matter. My window. And there's this character lifting a pyramid. And the horsemen are in the background in the Days of Future Past post-credit scene. At the beginning of this film, we see the 4 horsemen in an Egyptian city with Apocalypse, who is kind of changing bodies. I'm guessing the character from the beginning of, the post-credit scene is the character is going to be the new body for Apocalypse after he transfers from his old body into his new body, played by Oscar Isaac. But there are some rebels to Apocalypse's regime and try to entomb him in his chamber. The 4 horsemen giving their lives to keep Apocalypse alive and keep him safe in the chamber, whilst the process is going and throughout eternity. We then fast forward to 10 years after the events of Days of Future Past. It's 1983. And we see a young Scott Summers starting to find his powers. It's not too different, but still not too different to the one from Origins Wolverine in the bathroom, except his laser blast doesn't rip half the skull, just damages a door. Um, yeah. Just a quick mention. Apparently, Scott made a cameo appearance in Cerebro in First Class. Cerebro was picking up mutants, and it found Scott Summers apparently. It's kind of a little bit of continuity mistake here. Then, if they had a young Scott Summers there, because here he's supposed to be late teenager, around my age, 17ish. So. Yeah, he wouldn't even have been born by 1962. Sometime between 62 and 73, but not 62. And they're also learning about the that day in 73 where Magneto and Mystique confronted the cabinet, with Magneto now being the most wanted person on the planet, and Mystique being a hero, crowned a hero. Mystique has now gone into hiding, trying to find and rescue mutants who are in trouble, such as Nightcrawler, who is fighting in a cage with Angel, as I've mentioned in Deadpool, the fourth Angel character in this series. Although the Angel from Deadpool was a completely different character, we've had at least, and also the one from First Class was another completely different character. So this is the same one as the one from Last Stand, but in a different timeline. And also this is going to be his dark version, Archangel. Whilst one from Last Stand was the Angel that was part of the X-Men team, Warren Worthington III, but this is his dark version. I don't even know he's called Warren Worthington in this film. He's probably just Angel / Archangel. Apologies. Mystique rescues Nightcrawler after he injures Archangel, and well, they just go off in their own separate ways. I mean, we also see Scott now being Alex now is taking Alex Summers from First Class and Days of Future Past, taking Scott to Professor Xavier. Alex is his brother, by the way. I think he was supposed to be younger in the comics and the cartoons, but they changed it for this film. I think he would have been older than Scott if he was in First Class anyway. So Alex takes him to Professor Xavier, Pierce, I think, and he's welcomed into school, and it's at the school where he meets Jean Grey, who the pupils are actually quite scared of, because she's a psychic and she's having these nightmares, which in one scene we see Professor Xavier go into her mind and see one of her dreams. And he is concerned. He thinks it's a dream, but he is concerned anyway. Meanwhile, and also Mystique meets up with this guy. I can't remember his name, but it'll be in the. It's in the. Be worded up. It'll be in this. It's here. Okay, so his name's there. I can't remember what his name is, but I think it begins with C. Well, he's running this kind of mutants getting out of the country thing, and his associate in I've forgotten her name. Here, Psylocke. There we go. I think it's Psylocke. We also see Magneto is now in Poland, working as a working in the metal works. He has a wife and a daughter. He's living a happy life. He's not being called Eric Leichenberg or Magneto, but he's going under the name Henry. That's Henry with an I at the end. Henri. But one day, a piece of metal slips, and so he almost crushes a worker. So he manages to save the worker and moves away. And they suspect that he did it. That they didn't see him do it, or some of them probably didn't, but they suspect he was there. So he has to get his wife and daughter out of the country, or away from where their home is. The daughter is missing, so they go and find her in the forest, and that's where they confront some policemen who say that the metal workers have claims that they saw something unusual happen. And so Magneto agrees to come in, to turn himself in, but his daughter gets really upset about this because she doesn't want him to go and starts causing some birds to flock around the men, and one of them has a bow and arrow. Well, I think more than one does, but this particular one uses it, accidentally shoots the daughter and the mother, daughter and the wife, and kills both of them. And this causes Magneto to get really upset and really angry, well, wouldn't you? And uses the necklace you gave, I think it's to the wife, to kill every single policeman there. Every single one, even though it was only that one person. But yeah, to be honest, I would probably go up and shoot every single one of them myself if that happened. And then he goes to confront the metalworks. Meanwhile, again, we've got Rose Byrne's character from First Class. I can't remember her name, but she's a CIA agent. And she's now investigating something in Egypt, and she accidentally unleashes Apocalypse using sunlight. So Apocalypse escapes. He helps out a mutant in the market from stealing. Who'd been stealing, and he kills the men who's trying to punish her or kill her for it. And this mutant is Storm, by the way, and he then recruits her to be one of his horsemen of the apocalypse. They then go off to find other mutants. They find Psylocke, that she's recruited. Other guy, I can't remember, it's like Caramel or something. Excuse me. He's put to a side. He's not killed, but he's put to the side. It's probably because he's a mutant, not human. Then they go and find Archangel, and and he's recruited after being given. They're all given new extra powers, stronger. This is why Storm's hair is white. It's turned from brown to white. Psylocke is given more power, and Archangel's wings, not only are they fixed, but they're made of steel now. And they recruit Magneto whilst he's attempting to kill. He's going to kill the metalwork people. Apocalypse does it for him, and he's given more power. Oh, by the way, around this point, Magneto goes, "Who the fuck are you?" This makes the fifth film we've had strong language in an X-Men film, and in First Class we get it from Wolverine, who does it again in The Wolverine, which makes sense for that film because that's because Wolverine's supposed to be a more adult material character on his own than with the X-Men. Apparently, people wanted the Wolverine to be R-rated in America as opposed to PG-13, hence the 15 rated uncut. Although I think that was due to a trailer, not the film itself. Days of Future Past was young Xavier telling Wolverine what he said, except Wolverine said, "Go fuck yourself," in both the First Class and Wolverine. In Days of Future Past, Professor Xavier says, "Fuck off." So, again, continuity mistake and getting it mixed up. Days of Future Past only needed to have it because First Class had it. First Class didn't really need to say it. Wolverine was okay because it's more going for a more adult angle. And Deadpool, you get lots of strong language anyway, and that's necessary for the character. Mature. Apocalypse is this time we get it from Magneto, and this is the least necessary use of it. You can understand First Class because it's Wolverine, and Days of Future Past because it's Xavier telling Wolverine what he said back. Wolverine's going in a more mature angle, and Deadpool is a more mature angle. Apocalypse, it didn't really need it. So, with all the new four horsemen, Apocalypse declares that human race will be destroyed and that mutants will reign supreme, and he will activate all the nuclear weapons. Mystique has been getting worried about Eric after finding out about the events in Poland, and goes to Charles to see if they can find Eric. And he discovers that he's with Apocalypse, and then Apocalypse starts hacking into Cerebro, so he gets Alex to destroy it, but Charles is taken, and Charles is taken by Apocalypse, and then Alex accidentally blows up the house. Luckily, Quicksilver has decided to join the X-Men, realising that Magneto is his father, and arrives just in time to save everyone except for Alex, who, by the way, there's Scott, Jean, Nightcrawler, who's arrived with Mystique, and Jubilee for the first time in the live action films, come back and they find the house destroyed, and Scott is devastated. Alex, who we've seen in 3 films, by the way, get killed off. This character was killed off after 3 films, and seeing that character develop, it's quite sad, really, for this. At least, for me, at least, because I've seen him in First Class, and I saw him in Days of Future Past. He didn't do much in Days of Future Past, but he still nice to see him there. So it is quite sad, especially when you've got Scott's there now, having to take over, follow his legacy. So it's quite sad. But that's not all we have to worry about, because then a group of army people come in, and for the first time, an actor who previously played William Strider returns to reprise the role for the first time. His name will be here, because I can't remember it, but the actor from Days of Future Past returns to reprise the role of William Strider. For the first time in the franchise, we get an actor returning to play this character. We usually have to change actors. In X2, it was I can't remember. Sorry, I can't believe I've forgotten. It's Brian Cox, the actor, not the scientist. Brian Cox, who you may know from the Bourne films or from An Adventure in Space and Time, played Strider in X2. In Origins Wolverine, we got another actor in. In First Class, I think he made a cameo, or I think he was mentioned. And then again, he got another actor in for Days of Future Past, who is now reprising his role for Apocalypse. So it's actually it's pretty nice that we got the actor return for Apocalypse from Days of Future Past. Meanwhile, yeah. So and Rose Byrne's character's arrived here by now. She came to see Charles. I don't think she forgot him, but she came to see mutants or something. I can't exactly remember why she's there, but oh well, she's there. And she, Mystique, and I can't remember exactly who else has been taken, but she and Mystique are taken, as were 1 or 2 others. Quicksilver might have been taken. Alex, Nightcrawler, and Jean sneak aboard to rescue them. Who? Oh, Beast was taken. Can't remember if anybody else was. And they go to the base in Canada, as seen in X2 and Origins. It's there that Jean, Scott, and Nightcrawler find Wolverine in an another uncredited cameo from Hugh Jackman, even though he got more to do in this one than First Class. It's a shame. He should have been credited for this film, because he got more to do, and he was even in the trailer. But one of them. His scenes are probably some of the best, although also some of the most unnecessary, because it's just setting up the Wolverine story. But with a new timeline, we probably have to sort that out. the youngsters then rescue the others, and then they head off somewhere that Charles has been trying to send Jean messages, as Apocalypse has been trying to use his body. So Jean works out where they are, and so they go off to confront Apocalypse and the Four Horsemen and rescue Xavier. And it's where we get the big battle. Eventually they turn Magneto over to their side, and also kind of defeat Storm, Psylocke, and Archangel, with Archangel actually getting killed. And Storm sees turns when she witnesses some of the bravery, and Jean takes on Apocalypse with her powers after Charles is unable to do it. And Apocalypse, trying to go into his body, eventually makes Charles bald, but unfinished transformation allows Charles to remain in his own body despite being bald, which is what he looks like later on in life. Setting up things nicely for the original trilogy, even though it's another timeline now because Days of Future Past. Yeah, and Psylocke just goes, she just leaves, walks away. No, we're going to be seeing her again. And Storm joins the X-Men, and Magneto goes on his own way, but he is on better terms with them now. Mystique seems to be sticking around a bit longer at the Institute, which has now been rebuilt. Magneto helped rebuild it along with many of the other mutants. And yeah, it's been restored. Yeah, there was a mention in Deadpool that the house got blown up every couple of years. I think it was mainly mentioning to this film as well as also to X2 mostly, I would say. And maybe First Class, because of there was some scenes in there where they where Alex was testing his thing, but the house didn't blow up there, and Days of Future Past, it basically already been destroyed. Only X2 and more, and also this one have actually had the house blown up, and off-screen Days of Future Past. So what do I think? Well, production is great. It looks stunning. Some of the effects are good. The only effect that doesn't really good is when Apocalypse is doing his big speech, which I did for the opening sketch. I think it's supposed to be the clouds moving, but it doesn't look like it. The speech is good, and Oscar Isaac does a really good job, but that effect didn't really work. Everything else looks pretty good, though. And all the camera work and stuff is always top-notch on these films. Characters and cast. Characters are great, as always. We get to follow... Oh, I should mention that Charles gave Rose Byrne's character back her memories, and so she remembers the events of First Class. Yeah, and the kiss. That went to memory. She's mad at first, but she's alright with it later. Yeah, casts and characters. Characters are great. James McAvoy is Professor Xavier. First Class, brilliant. Days of Futures Past, outstanding. Here, magnificent. Patrick Stewart will always be the classic Xavier, but James McAvoy James McAvoy is great in his own way, and it's great to see the young Xavier go through these triumphs before he becomes the older one. And to be honest, I think we're going to be seeing more of him in the future, to be honest, rather than Stewart. Though, thankfully, he will be returning for next year's Wolverine solo. Third Wolverine solo, I should point out. But much older. Maybe been able to make up, but we'll see. Michael Fassbender again is great at Magneto. He's not as good as McAvoy's Captain Professor Xavier as when he's trying to do Magneto, but he still does a really good job. Again, Ian McKellen is always going to be the classic Magneto, But Michael Fassbender does a really great job as well. And again, he's been going from strength to strength throughout the trilogy, the First Class trilogy, as it's been called. And in the overall franchise, including spin-offs, it's technically the 5th, 9th, 7th and 9th films. So with Wolverine with the Wolverine and Deadpool being 6 and 8. Again, Jennifer Lawrence and Nicholas Hoult as Mystique and Beast. Again, we're progressing them throughout into their 3rd film. Apparently, this was going to be ends Lawrence's contract as Mystique, so we don't know if she's going to be coming back for a 4th film. We don't know if she's going to be doing that possible Mystique spin-off, which sounds really cool. I don't know what people are getting across, why people don't want it. Sounds really good. And like I said, the actor for Alex is great, and it's sad to see him go after 3 films, especially not seeing much of him in the last one of this trilogy. Last one before last one, because the last one would be Deadpool. And also William Strider, the actor of William Strider returns. Great. He's probably the best one after Brian Cox, and also Quicksilver is back. He's great. He's even better here, probably, than Days of Future Past. Rose Byrne's character returns. She's great. I don't think she's as good as First Class, but she does a good job here. Looking forward to seeing them in future films if they're making more. Hope the next one is going to be looking at the Dark Phoenix saga. Let's hope they do a better job than Last Stand. I did like Last Stand, but I don't think it's one of the weaker ones, easily. Not the weakest, that goes to Origins, but easily one of the weakest. New characters. Jean Grey, as we were talking about, Phoenix. Sophie Turner does a brilliant job as Jean, really capturing the younger side. The actor of Scott Summers / Cyclops, I can't remember his name, but he does a really good job. He's definitely better than the one from Origins. Probably not as good as James Marsden, but he's still really good. Sophie Turner better than what's her name? Frankie Johnson. Probably not. I think the original cast was probably better, but see, the new cast are really great anyway, in their own rights, and we'll see how they're going to progress, as is the actress of Storm. Can't remember who this one played. This one is, but she's great. Again, Halle Berry is still better, but this one is really great. Who else we got? We've got Nightcrawler. Actually, I might prepare this Nightcrawler over Alan Cummings' one from X2. To be honest, this is probably the first one from one of the few ones I prefer new casting over the original cast, because the original cast are great, and even though the new cast are also great. And this is one of the few times where I prefer this particular, the new version over the older one. I did like Cummings' version, but I thought this one was a bit better. The actor's name... Sorry, I can't remember the actor's name here. Yeah. Or who else is... Psylocke? I think that's her name. She's good in the scene she's in, but not very... I think Psylocke and Archangel are the least useful characters in these films. The least necessary. They're only there to form the Horsemen and to fight. They're not really there. Archangel even more so. He's really not that great. He gets killed off and shows how weak he is. And even Apocalypse acknowledges this, and he just goes weak. That being said, Psylocke we could see more of Psylocke in the future. So let's hope the character gets a bit more to do and maybe becomes more of a threat. Finally, to wrap up, we've got Quicksilver's mother makes a reappearance, brief but okay. It's not quite nice. It's quite nice. The actors of the Magneto's family, the workplace, and the police, they do a good job in the few scenes they get. The new Jubilee barely gets to do anything. but she's alright for the few scenes she's in. I'd like to see more of her, because she's quite a big character in the 90s X-Men cartoon series. So let's see if she can do a bit more and actually use her powers. I don't know if she used her powers to help rebuild the school, but she might have done, but I'm not sure. Let's see how it goes. Wolverine Hugh Jackman doesn't get credited, but we know it's him. We're all looking forward to it, and we're all sad to know he's ending the role next year. But let's hope Wolverine 3 is going to be a high note. Okay, let's hope it's a high note. I think it's coming out in March. I'm not certain. Should be March 2017. I'm not sure when the X-Force film is going to be coming out. Probably a bit later on. Deadpool 2 is probably going to be some. I wouldn't be surprised if that was early 2018. But as he's in X-Force, that might be a bit later. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Story's good. It's not as great as some of the others, and some of the other films. Scale is really good. They really have big ambitions for this film. This one and Days of Future Past are probably the biggest in ambitions, and maybe also Last Stand, but we all know how that turned out. A little bit of a mess. This one, it's a bit messy, but it kind of cleans itself up in part. It has a lot of clean stuff. Let's get a t-shirt. Let's say a shirt. We've got a shirt that have lots of... And how much mess it is how clean it is how good the film is. Last Stand has a lot of mess all over it that it tries to clean. It's not very successful in places. Apocalypse has quite a few stains, but it manages to clean some of them out here and there. Days of Future Past has maybe a few stains dotted around, but it cleans up after itself. Well, mostly. Yeah, I just compared this film to Last Stand. Boy, but to be honest, there isn't really much of a gap in most people's rankings. There won't be much of a gap between this one and Last Stand, depending on where you put them. Unfortunately, this film is trying to be it's trying to be really great. It's trying to be like Days of Future Past. It's trying to be one of the best, but I don't think it succeeds as well. It's more on the first class successful line as opposed to the Days of Future Past one. It's a shame because this is a great film, but it could have been a little bit better. Maybe if Psylocke and Archangel got more to do, if they were better characters. But we didn't really get much. Bryan Singer does a great direction. It's his 4th X-Men film. I don't think he's going to be stopping anytime soon. The only reason he didn't do X3 is because he went on to do Superman Returns. And that was a good film, but wasn't particularly liked by most people. Some people liked it though. It's more successful than Man of Steel, critically at least. And and that's why X3 was done by Last Stand was done by a different director, Brett Ratner to be precise. And Singer didn't return to the franchise until 2014, with about 11 years after X2, with Days of Future Past. But after 4 films, he's still the director who's done the most films. Both James Mangold and Tim Miller will be returning for the Wolverine and Deadpool sequels. So we'll be getting more recurring directors for the X-Men franchise, aside from Singer. Would I like any of the other directors to return? Matthew Vaughn from First Class, yes. Brett Ratner or Gavin Hood. Gavin Hood could have another chance because he did Tootsie in 2005, and that was great. But I probably wouldn't say Brett Ratner again. Gavin Hood could have another chance. Matthew Vaughn, please come back. If Bryan Singer doesn't do the next one, discluding the spin-offs, next X-Men film. I don't know who's doing X-Force. There's been, like I said, there's been rumours of the Channing Tatum Gambit film, but I don't even know if that's going to be happening anymore. If it is, I don't know who's directing it. That film would help restore the character after the disappointing treatment he got in Origins, like Deadpool. Similar to a Deadpool style. Apocalypse. It's a great film, but it's not as good as it could be. But it's better than some others. So for that reason, X-Men Apocalypse gets an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I did think it could have been a 9, but thinking about it, the time from seeing it to thinking about it, it's not that great. It could have been better. But spoiler alert for this year's ranking list, it's still going to be in the top 5 films of this year from my ranking, unless something beats it. Actually, it might even have taken over Suicide Squad as the best 8 out of 10 so far, which means the next film on the list would be a 9 out of 10. Sadly, this film couldn't get that high note, but thankfully it's the current highest 8 out of 10 film I've seen so far, and I actually thought that after doing the Suicide Squad reviews, so to beat Suicide Squad, that being a better 8 out of 10 film. That was X-Men Days of Future Past, my final review so far of the 2016 films, of the films I've seen at the cinema in 2016, which includes 2014's Paddington. So yeah, that's it for now. Any more films I will see in the cinema, I will review. I believe this review's gone on for quite a bit. That's me done now. That's it for these reviews. That doesn't mean I'm done with the reviews completely. As well as possible future film reviews, just not only for this year, but also for following year. Next year as well. Next year and other years, hopefully. And you still got the chance to say if you want me to review anything. I could review X-Men films, Batman, Superman, other franchises. Ollie has told me I should do James Bond reviews. I might do that prior towards the 25th Bond film. It'd be too long to rank the entire franchise in that review, and to be honest, my list keeps changing. I might do the Fantastic Beasts. I probably rank the Harry Potter ones. Unless I've done those first. If I see Fantastic Beasts, that is. Nearly 4 o'clock. 5 minutes to go. But really, the only other reviews that I've got planned at the moment are future reviews on the Whoniversals channel. I did one for K9 and Company, Girl's Best Friend, a few weeks ago. So go check that out. And the next video I will do will be a review of The Idiot's Lantern. That should be coming at the beginning of about a week or two. Less than 2 weeks, so a week and a half, I would say. Yeah. And then after that, we've got the video I've been wanting to make all year, and also try, but in order to do that, I have to listen to something. That is something I really don't like listening to. It's Whatever Happens to Susan, the BBC 4 radio play made around the 30th anniversary of the show. Yeah, I'll go into more detail about it in the review, but it's the video I want to make the most of the year. But that means I have to listen to something I want to listen the least to. I don't want to listen to again, apart from when I'm to do this. Oh yeah, God. And class reviews will come at some point. Hopefully, around maybe October, when the series starts. And yeah, I think that's it. Just 2 more Doctor Who, 2 reviews for Whoniversals, maybe 1 or 2 class ones as well. And yeah, for 2016 so far at least. There'll probably be others at some point. Alright, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. I won't waste any more of your time. Bye. What would happen if they came? They came for you. Came for your students. I have a great deal of pity for those who dare to come to my school uninvited. Right. Goodbye, old friend. Goodbye, Eric. I knew you'd be pissed. Forget everything you ever know. You're not students anymore. You're X-Men.